All right, there we go. Well, we're finally going. All right, cool. All right, so that's a little noodling and bass pie tuning. What's up, everyone? Happy Pie Day. Happy Pie Day, Alan. Uh, my name my name is Will. This is my good friend Alan Jackson, Orsheeboo in the lower left corner there. We are gonna celebrate pie in probably the most esoteric way possible here inside inside Kyma. Basically, figuring this out as we go with some ideas about bass pie tuning and other other areas of sound that we can incorporate pie as well. But one thing that's cool is we're going to use a tool, literally a tool that Alan made, like the tools here under the tools menu. Alan designed this one, and we're going to use this for some direction in where to go with all this, or as a starting point. So could you take a second? Would you mind, Alan, just telling us a little bit about how this works? Because this is a custom thing. Most people probably haven't tinkered with it. Right. Yeah. Is that what I should do? Hit next here. Let's see. Clicking next. I think my computer's still trying to process all this. There we go. Okay. Sound, MIDI source, type, sound source, strategy, organic machinery. Okay. So what is so it just told us to use MIDI as the source input, is that right? Like MIDI events. MIDI events. Okay. We can always just go to the next one until we get something we like. I think we can do this. What is type sound source? Okay, so that's saying like we should use a sound like this as opposed to what is that saying specifically to do? Sound source. Oh, really? Okay. All right, sorry. Cool. Well, we'll talk it through. Mhm. There we go. Mm. Got it. Got it. And then we have a make a thing that makes a noise, and our oblique strategy of sorts is organic machinery. Is that right? Okay. All right. So, I mean, MIDI source kind of does that open the door for us to talk about this MIDI, our bass pi tuning, which we've already talked about, and make it performable and send those MIDI events? That's a perfect way to get rolling. Okay, so I'm just going to set the. We'll ignore the timer. We may get an alarm bell there when it goes off, but for now, that's what we'll do. Okay, so do we want to just put this right into like a frequency field of an oscillator? Because that's a sound, right? Are we still, we're not breaking the rules yet of the tool, or have we? Okay, let's get this set up here. All right. I'm gonna blame this lagginess on the blizzard conditions outside. Um, so yeah, maybe if this whole thing goes dark, it's because there's almost 2 feet of snow outside the window right now. All right. So we came up with this. We started talking about how do we do like a bass pi tuning, right? Redefining the octave to no longer a ratio of 1 to 2, 2 to 1, right? And instead 1 to pi, essentially, right? That's what we've done. So we're no longer in that same sort of dividing the octave in perfect halves in that way, or frequencies in half for an octaves. Right. So that's this, right? Then we also have to consider how many notes, like how we want to, how many divisions of the octave, right? Like for equal temperament tuning, we divide it by 12 equal divisions, but we don't necessarily have to do that. But I might suggest that we do, because we both have continuums, so at least we would have that as a visual reference, right? Whereas if we start dividing this up into 13 or 17 or something, not that I'm going to know how to play in pi in the first place, but visually I'm not going to have any idea where those intervals are, right? Does that make sense? All right. That's right. So we're sort of, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because we can find those in between places anyways. But I think we'll still hear our tolerance for dissonance is going to be tested. I suspect with this. Okay, let me just make this a little more performable here. Am I allowed to do this, or is this against the rules too? Like, can I grab other stuff and plunk it in there? Okay. All right. All right. That gives us a little something. Let's make sure this is gated. Let's just make it one sample. Should we scale the... We can scale it by pi as well, right? Key velocity. Not yet. Is it that far behind? on the screen. Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, I've scaled our key velocity by pi, double pi. Not that we're necessarily going to hear it, but instead of getting the full, 0 to 1, now it's going to go. Maybe are we? Maybe we're not even going to hear that, are we? Right. Got an AR with a key down, attack time 1 sample, release time 1 sample. Oh yeah, let's divide. Let's divide it, not multiply. Okay, let's hear pi first and go, and then we'll build upon this. So that was like a C major scale, at least as far as my finger placement. You can't hear Kyma. Yeah, let me make sure because I know it was dropping out. Yeah, it does. For some reason in the browser. Now you should hear it. Okay, so that's bass pi tuning. Now when we move, so that's now our octave. Is that what we're saying? From C here to C here is now no longer twice the frequency. It's 3.1415 pi times. Right? Yeah, sure. You could just drag this in. Another thought. How do we make this organic machinery? If we consider our oblique strategy, what could we do to this to make it okay, is that your sound now, Alan? What are you playing on there? It's just out of sight. Just a regular, is that just a regular MIDI keyboard, Alan? Yeah, can you hear me? We're having some technical difficulties. Yes. We're communicating on the back end. I can hear you. We could hear you playing. I was just asking what you were playing. Was that just the bass pi tuning on your MIDI keyboard? Obviously can't hear me. Hello, Alan. Come in, Alan. Got nothing. Let's see. We're trying to get back connected here. Yeah, we can hear you. That's like really far behind. Let's see if we can sort this. Thinks the OBS stream is very slow or frozen right now. Let me check. Yeah, we're going to sort a couple technical things. See if we can't get this running a little smoother. Okay, changing the amount of stream inputs. Okay, there we go. Alan is back. Can you hear me, Alan? Sending you the camera now on the feed. That was the screen before. You should have my audio too. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that's yes, we have your audio. Talk.
One, two, 1, 2.
Yeah,
This is a mic test. Here's the sound of pi. This is pi minor.
What about me? Can you hear me, Alan?
Hey, I can hear you well.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was this whole OBS Ninja thing getting hung up, and it keeps quitting my Kyma input as well. So I'll just keep an eye on it. So can you hear? Let's see if we can. Can you still hear my Kyma sound?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so that's pi, and you were just playing pi on a MIDI keyboard, right? Not the continuum.
That's right. Here's
Is that right?
pi on a keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah. This is pi major.
Pi major.
This is pi minor. Actually, that was. And that's pi minor.
And that's pi minor. Okay. What I was asking before we lost connection, sorry about that. A lot of technical things to deal with, was how we now incorporate the oblique strategy, organic machinery, if we wanted to bring that angle in. What would your thoughts be on that?
I don't know. What's the first thing that pops into your head? Machinery.
Organic machinery. That's kind of, they're kind of opposites in a way, aren't they?
Yeah.
I guess not
Yeah.
necessarily, but I don't
Thanks for that
think
one,
of.
Tool.
I don't. I guess I
Well, something
haven't
that grows.
associated machinery with being organic.
Something that grows. Tell you what, we could grow pi.
Grow pi? Like you mean? Go on. I've just noticed that Symbolic Sound left us a comment saying there seems to be a bandwidth issue. We are unable to hear Alan at all.
That's because I stopped speaking.
That's because he stopped speaking. What about now?
That's because but I couldn't.
If there's anybody still there, no, it's like it was going to be a limited crowd in the first place, and then after all this, it's hard. You know, we're all monitoring at different stages, and then the final output, of course, for YouTube is like 30 seconds behind. So there's no way we'd really want to monitor. You know, we couldn't play and then wait 30 seconds. Okay, but you were saying grow pi.
Pi, we could grow pi. So what do I mean? So like pi, there's a sequence. There's one sequence with I think it's called the Leibniz sequence, although it wasn't actually discovered by him, was it? By I think someone in India 200 years before him. But pi divided by 4 can be calculated by the sequence 1 minus a third plus a fifth minus a seventh plus a ninth.
I should be writing this in here, right?
I know it sounds more complicated than it is, but yeah. Have you got bring up your small talk window.
Bring this front and center. Okay, so you said
I said
yeah, it's thinking here. There we go. Let's see. Okay, you said pi, which we represent here with double pi.
Double pi divided by 4 equals. Oh, we're just writing this as a piece of maths at this point. Equals 1 minus a third.
Oh, you want me to write like this? Equals.
Yeah. Well, I can't actually see. You have to pretend I'm on the radio because your reverse stream for some reason I can hear you, but I can't see what you're doing until about 2 minutes later.
Oh, really?
But okay, that's fine.
All right, so double pi. I can also make it, if it would be easier, you could type on your screen. I could just make your visual bigger.
Sure.
Let's try that. So if you can change your source from camera to screen share.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we hear Alan and his Kyma audio now, so we're back connected. Thanks for bearing with us.
It's very professional. So there you go. Can you see that?
Absolutely. And let me
fantastic. So
get you a little
one way of calculating pi is like this. So pi over 4 apparently equals this infinite sum. So it's like all the odd numbers, it's odd fractions, 1 over 3, 1 over 5, 1 over 7. And then every other one, you subtract, then you add, then you subtract, then you add, then you subtract. And so on. And we won't go into the proof. as to why
Right.
this is the case. But let's just believe it, shall we?
Let's believe
So
it.
if basically if we take that sequence and we multiply that by 4, it's not even a 4. That would equal pi.
Money. Right.
Pi equals 4 times the sequence. So we could generate that sequence. Here's a thought, right? How about this, right? Obviously, we can't, like in the audio channel, we can only go from -1 to +1. Okay, so let's go back to how it was. We'll put the 4 back on this side. So in your expression where you're working out pi in your tuning, yeah, instead of using double pi, we could use a sound and then multiply it by 4. And this sound could calculate this thing. And we could do this. I'm thinking, like, we could like do this over time? Do you see what I mean? Like if we have an integrator, if we have like a delay in an infinite loop with like full feedback on, yeah?
Okay.
A delay with full feedback, yeah? And then we bang a 1 into it. So this delay now holds 1 in. And then we put, I think this would work, wouldn't it? Then we, for one sample, we put in -1/3. And then our new output of that delay would be 2/3. And then we add a 5th. And so on. We can start this manual. Yeah?
Right.
Is this making any sense?
It is a bit. Yeah. Let's get it in.
Shall I start making? I'll make a little thing.
Yeah. Let's see it. Yeah. I think because at least on my screen it's coming through. I think pretty nicely. So
cool. Okay. So let's just put a thing into a delay, right? So we're gonna have a 1 sample delay, and we're gonna have all feedback. And no smoothing and no interpolation, and yeah, great. Okay, so here's our delay. So this is actually our kind of accumulator. I even have spelled that correctly. And let's put a thing on the output so we can see the number coming out of this thing. Yeah. Okay, so this is our generated event. Okay, so we're going to put in here a constant in. Where did you go, constant? There you go. Okay, so we'll just put in. Let me think. Oh yeah, we'll make it easier ourselves, so we can go numerate. No, it's always 1 over, isn't it? It's always 1 over. So it's like 1. So the number we're going to put in, number, yeah.
I'm listening to you, Alan. I'm just being told the sound's coming through, but the video isn't. So I'm just doing a bit of troubleshooting while you talk it through there, but I can still hear you.
Okay, I'll just carry on regardless. Okay, so we're going to take the inverse of that number. But we're also going to have to multiply that by like the sine of something else. So we'll just call this one sine of sine. Is that good? No. Let's see, if we have sine as a button, that might work. Multiply by the sine of sine. Okay, so this thing coming out here should, tell you what, I'm going to put another, so we can kind of debug this and see it. Put another sound global controller on there and make this one not silent, so it passes its value through. And this one will be like our interim. This is our kind of term, interim term, and this is pi so far.
Pi so far.
Okay, so every time we hit this, we're gonna put some. Oh no! But if we, is that right? I've got this feeling it's a one sample delay, so we have to do this for one sample. Okay, so we need a one sample wide pulse. Okay, so well, we could use a pulse train, but that's going to be periodic, isn't it? We probably don't want a pulse train. No, we probably want a function generator, maybe. How we can trigger. That will do one thing. So we want a one sample wide pulse. I think there must be what am I forgetting here? What's the easiest way of making one sample wide pulse? We could just make any old pulse.
Function generator, or isn't there a pulse generator?
There's a
pulse train. I see.
So this will do a one. Yeah, let's use function generator.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a product. So we need to have a product in here. Then get our function generator. Put that in there. Oops, don't want you. Let's think. So we just want this one sample wide pulse. So we could put square in here, couldn't we? We'll go up and down. I think. What's that look like? Yeah, right. So that goes up and then goes back down again. The trigger will be actually, yeah, we set this up first. Yeah, the trigger will just be trigger. Yeah, that's great. We'll just hit this button, poof, then it goes. Okay. The on duration will be
Is one sample? Two?
Maybe if we do it two sample, maybe it'll just work and we don't need to do. I was thinking that we could do a pulse to sample thing, but we probably don't have to. Blah, 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 blah. That might work. Maybe we want to test this bit with the scope quickly. Check that works.
Here's the scope.
Now, if we put
see what we're doing.
Put the output of that into the scope sweep or trig. Should synchronize quite nicely. So let's just run that. Okay, here's our. Yeah, that looks like a one sample wide pulse, doesn't it? Can you see it just on the left?
Yeah, a little bit.
Orange line. I mean, I can make it bigger.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
That's probably one sample wide. If it's two, then we're knackered. So how would we know? How big can we go? So this is 300 microseconds. Oh, how many samples fits across the screen at that? So I'm at 48 kilohertz, 48,000 samples a second, right? And we will multiply that by, what did I just say? It was 0.3 milliseconds. So that's, put 3 more zeros in there. There'd be about 14. That weird, 14.4. About 14 of those. Ooh. So I'm just going to grab a ruler. This is like speed maths, isn't it? So I'm not measuring off the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm halfway across the screen. Yep, that's a sample. You heard it here.
I love how you figured that out. Did you just had a ruler going across the screen?
I just measured it with a pen on the screen. But that looks like about a sample. So where's our sound? Here it is. Great. Okay, so I think that's working. So let's get rid of that scope. So the function generator, when we ever hit that, that'll do that. And should we run it, see what happens? Okay, now, apart from it already being wrong, okay, so we want to start with that at 1. There's our trigger. our first term will be 1. The sign, that's positive. So we want sign to be like a, so if we just make this go -1 and +1 and turn that into a button, no, a toggle, right? So that should be like, right, so that's our term, -1. Oh, cool. Oh, look, right.
Sorry, I'm just getting more feedback that things are glitchy, so I'm just
Oh,
letting people
no.
know what's up. But just keep going. I think it's gonna buffer, and on the replay, I suspect it might not be so bad. So we'll just power through it.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, Alan.
No, no, that's fine. That's fine. So we'll go up from 1 to say 32, step 1. Right. Oh, be nice actually if we could see stuff as well. Now I think our one sample wide pulse isn't quite working yet, but there you go. Hold on. Septic marks and labels. It'd be nice if we could see. Oops. Number. Okay, so here's all our numbers up the side. So if we do that, look, it's a half, it's a third, minus a third. Great, so we can generate the numbers that we want in our sequence. Now,
Brilliant.
That is supposed to just bang it in. I'm kind of thinking, yeah, it's oh yeah, of course, rookie mistake.
Sorry, it cut out. What'd you say right before mistake?
You just cut out telling me I cut out.
That's great.
Um,
I was just asking you. You seemed like you unearthed a way to
mistake.
go here. A mistake, yeah.
A mistake, yeah, yeah. So we're using a square wave,
Right.
but that goes negative. We want. So yeah, not that. So it's sitting there at -1 constantly, putting the negation of our thing into the accumulator and messing it up. So why don't we just, yeah, let's not do that. Let's do it a different way, shall we?
Sure.
Just,
That's what it's. We're figuring this out, right? We didn't have a clear direction.
oh gosh, we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Just it's an experimentation, iterative process.
Change one less. Okay, so that'll give us a 1 millisecond wide pulse. But that's no good because we need a 1 sample wide pulse. So we can do the whole. This is fun. Are you enjoying this?
I am, yeah. I'm also trying to figure out where the hitch and the giddy up here, where it's at. And I haven't entirely located it, so still like trying to focus on this while also making sure it's as good a quality going out as it can.
So we know that our output's going to be 1 or 0. So that kind of is cool. That gives us a bit of stuff. So what we do is we subtract the value from the value 1 sample ago. And if that's positive, and then we take the sign of that. So that'll force it to 1 or 0. So what we're saying is, let me just double check the logic on this, right? So if we go to 1 and our delay before, so if we've literally, if we're on the rising edge of that, I'll go to that will are you following? This will be 1. So if our trigger goes from 0 to 1, yeah, the value at this minus will be 1. The thing one sample before is still at 0. So the result of this minus is positive. And so we get a positive number coming out. But then one sample later, this rises. And so we're now subtracting it from itself, which is 0, so we get 0. Later, so that minus will go negative, but negative gives out a 0 because we edited the sign so that negative. So this should give a one sample wide pulse. This works if we know that the input is 0 or 1. Changing number, then this would sort of mess up a little bit, but yeah, but that's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I followed most of that. It was intermittent a little bit on my end, but I think I followed it for the most part.
Let's see if it runs. So pi so far is 0. Great. So we're going to start by, our term is 1, okay? Put 1 into the accumulator. It's decaying. Look, it's going down. Oh no. So we have to be quick to calculate pi.
How quick?
Okay.
SSC is saying pulse train with a very long period.
Well, how do you re-trigger a pulse train? Oh, because you can gate it at capital grade. Very true. We could have done that also. Yes. That's nice. Now, the delay has, you see it counting down. So inside here, what we're using as the accumulator is this delay. And the delay has a scale, right? So that's probably, this is a guess on my part, this is kind of like an internal product that is scaling by this factor. No, sorry, not scale, feedback. Feedback. So it has an internal feedback loop inside the delay. You with me so far? But that's going to multiply by whatever is in feedback, which here is the number 1. But the number 1 doesn't exist in 2's complement in the audio channel, which I think is why we're seeing this counting down, unless I've messed something else up. Yeah, because anything else should just go round and round. There's nothing else going in. There's nothing else should be leaking. That is not silent. Maybe it should be. Oh, no, of course it should. No, because we hit this product. That should be 1 or 0. So this should definitely be 0 coming out of sine. Yeah. So I think the only reason that would be counting down is maybe that it's just losing something internally ever so slightly. So the way to deal with that will be to make our own feedback loop. Feedback loop in. And a feedback loop out should be next door to it. And put it on the mixer, get rid of our accumulator. Feedback loop has an inherent 1 sample delay anyway. So this should do, I think, the same thing. Let's see how this one works. Okay, so we're going to put our first term as 1, hit the trigger. 1, stable. Okay. Then we want to do, so it was 1 minus a third, wasn't it? What was my little formula? 1 minus a third, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Does that look right? This is a third.
Pi so far is a third.
That doesn't, hold on, let's start again. So if we go back to here, hold on, put this on positive. So 1, right? We start at 1, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And we want to put in minus a third. That should go down to 0.66. It did for a second. Sample wide pulse, not one sample wide. I completely messed this up. So here's our number coming out here. We multiply it by this thing, which should be goes into this feedback loop. So we come in here. And then that should then go round and round. Start again. So 1 pi so far. Okay. 3 minus 3. If I hold trigger down, aha, when I let go trigger, it goes again. Okay, I've messed something up here. I've got these two the wrong way around, I think. I'm going to lose it. No, I'm not.
Minus.
So we're subtracting that from that. Okay. When that is positive, yes, it should go negative, shouldn't it? I go back to 0. That's still at 1. 0. Yeah, I think it's just because I had those two the wrong way around in the minus.
Okay.
Okay. Stop. This sounds so good, doesn't it?
This is wonderful.
Okay, so we got 1. All right, now we're going to go for minus a third. Ah!
It was there briefly, though. It was there.
What if I messed something up? What have I messed up? Oh, of course. We don't even need has changed. Has changed because it's going to change when it goes on and it's going to fire again when it goes off. I could have used switched on, not has changed. But even then, I don't need to because I'm just doing it anyway. Yeah.
All right, let's check it out.
The joys of debugging. I could even use that as the default.
Okay, there you go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, yes. The
1.
moment of truth.
Well. Yes.
Bam.
Cool. Okay. So let's just multiply that output by 4. This one. They should use Kyma in schools to teach kids maths, I think.
There you go.
4. So our first approximation is the number 4. 2.66. Make that one positive. 3. Oh, it's getting closer. 7 negative. I think I did that. Did I do it? I did do it, didn't I? Don't lose track of what you do.
I couldn't tell. It's like blurry and a bit glitchy on my end. Not to mention, like, I'm trying to get in this headspace of understanding this. So with all those things,
I think it's working. So I'm up to 17 now.
yeah, we're getting closer and closer to pi.
Yeah. 19, 21. Ooh. 23. 25. 27. Yeah. 31. And then I run out of numbers in this. So there you go. Well,
Now,
job done.
Now, what would we do if we wanted to hear it? I guess in some capacity, where could we put this so we could hear it?
So I'm thinking, like in your sound, like in an oscillator, right?
Mm-hmm.
In here, what do you have? Those times you had double pi.
Right. Double
So
pi.
far.
There you go.
To
the power of key number divided by. We were using 12. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Approximation. And then it would like keep changing.
Ooh.
First approximation would be 4, so it would sound. It'd be like all the octaves would be.
I'm sorry, you just cut out. You said all the octaves. What?
Would be stretched. Like if we start with four, so instead actually it'd be stretched quite a lot, but they'll be like double octaves. Do you know what I mean? Like you go up 12 notes and you go up 2 octaves instead of 1, and then it's going to home in slowly on pi. So we could then just
so each octave is different. Is that right?
No. Oh well, you could do that. I was thinking we'd evolve it over time.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So we start off with the manual one, right?
Yeah.
So here we go. So that's pi so far. Here it is. I'll tell you what. I'll put. Let's put the AR thing in there. I'm just going to put something. Otherwise, it was really clicky, isn't it? So we'll put something in the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I did the wrong one. No, that's not what I meant. So put that in there. Put key down in here. And then put a slew rate limiter on that of 2 or 3 milliseconds. And that will still turn it on and off, but I think sort of without a click.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You got any sound coming up? No. Okay. Why is that? Is that because pi so far is 0? Okay, fair enough. Right. So there's your double octave there. Can you hear that? Is that
music to my ears. Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Right, so now we're going to make the next approximation of pi. So we need to make that now lower. Okay. Then we should be positive. Poof. And then we can get closer to pi. Go in again. This one needs to be positive, doesn't it? We want to automate this process.
Yeah, make them, yeah, either automate them or performable in some way.
Yeah.
But it's sounding great. I think it's very cool. Very cool concept.
Organic machinery. This is the question.
So there. Yeah, that brings us back to our original MIDI source. Yes, we got it. Sound source. Type sound source. Yes. Strategy. Organic machinery. That's right. So we grew pi, as you said.
Well, we could put a BPM trigger in here, so we could get it to do itself. Do you see what I mean? So first of all, this number. So what we want to do is okay. So we want a number that goes all the odd numbers. So let's say we have a clock signal coming in, and then we could just do next index, can't we? That just counts up, doesn't it?
Next index modulus.
Well, we don't need to mod anything. We're just going to keep going forever.
We're just gonna keep going. Okay.
Well, no. Let's mod it. I like your idea because then we can start again. Okay, so we've got this number that's going up. Now what we want is, I guess, we want all the odd numbers. So the first number is going to be 0. So we're going to multiply that by 2, and then we're going to add 1. Okay, is that right? Because the next one will be 2, and then we add 1, 3, and then it will be
times 2 times 2 would be 4 plus 1 is 5.
5. Yeah. Okay, great. It's all the odd numbers, starting at 1. And then we take the inverse of that. Great. So far, so good. Now, we want them to be, every other one, we want to be positive and negative. So we could do the same thing. Same clock index 64, which is counting up. And we can just go, so that's going to, well, they're going to be in sync anyway. So we want, when this is 0, this will be 0. 0 is even, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes.
True. Okay.
Do we have even in Capitalk? In Smalltalk? Does it matter? Yeah, it will matter. No. But we can just we can mod it. Mod 2. Mod 2? Mod 1. Mod 2. So if we mod 2, that's going to be 0. So if that is positive, yeah. It's a much easier way of doing this. But if that's true, right? We're going to be odd.
I'm always odd.
Because 0 is even, like 2 is even, 2 mod 2 is 0. Odd. Not the first one, the second minus. Yeah, we want -1. We just have 1. Okay. Now, have I got enough brackets in there? I don't. Just in case. There we go. Okay, so that should just trigger off the clock. Okay. Off the clock. Then we need that to trigger off the clock as well. And then we just need a clock. Fast you on the clock. We'll do what the we can. There you go. That will start quite fast, won't it? Oh well, we go around every 64, so we're cool.
There we go.
Do you think this is going to work? What are the bets on
what are the
me
bets?
pressing run? Yeah, me pressing run and anything.
I think it's going to work. Yeah, we're going to get something. We're going to have something to work with here.
It's homing in on pi.
So that sounds a bit like the theme to Jaws. It's the Pi edition, Pi tuning of Jaws theme.
Get you there. Oh, no, we are back again.
Yeah? There you go.
There you go. What's called the Leibniz approximation to 64.
Okay, so to review, what have we
what have we learned here?
What have we done here? I'm trying to keep up, right? Both literally and like, the stream's lagging, but so am I, in my understanding of this whole thing, which is good, right? I'll have something, if this isn't too glitchy on the playback, I'll have something to study. But we basically created a base pi tuning. We grew pi for organic machinery, for our organic machinery oblique strategy. I mean, how else would you describe it?
What we've done here.
Yeah. Like in this simplest way, if it could be expressed simply.
We made a thing.
We made a thing.
We made a thing that uses. So we made a thing that tunes not to an octave, but to pi. So the R octave is defined not by doubling the frequency, but by multiplying the frequency by pi. And then we use this infinite series kind of approximation. Well, I guess, I mean, if you take it to the infinite limit, then it becomes pi, doesn't it? But we've taken this kind of infinite series, and we're going through it. We're stepping through it. So we're kind of approximating and homing in on pi.
So is pi an asymptote in this?
Now you're using big words. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's getting, like you say, it's approaching pi. So it's like constantly getting closer and closer and closer to it. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So should we Which we put in both the real one and the approximation one. You can get put real up.
It's like detuned a bit. Some beating.
Format there as well, just for fun.
I dig it. I like it. That's always that, like, it's like close to a half step, so it's gonna sound like that Jaws thing. And you're plunking away on your MIDI keyboard there, is that right?
Yeah.
Because of the changes we had to make, we lost your nice visual performance there. We have your screen, so just sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Rad. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good celebration of Pi, for sure. Something to chew on for a while.
Something to tell all your friends about.
That's right. Look what my friend Alan made, and I watched. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're still getting some people watching, so I think it'll buffer and process, and it won't be so bad on the playback. I'm hoping.
So I should send this to you now.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I would love to play with it. I'm reluctant.
Why don't you take this? And make it sound good.
Pass it through. Maybe we'll do a follow-up. I don't know where the hitch and the giddy up is here. I mean, OBS is telling me, giving me the green light. Somewhere it's getting bottlenecked. So maybe we can revisit this, in a few days or something like that when things are working smoother.
Yeah. Keep it. Oh, hold on. What am I doing at this point? I haven't made a new sound file for this. We've been just doing all this without saving. We're just like, that's the kind of.
We're on the razor's edge.
Yeah, we just like to. We have no regard to. So let's go with props. Just do that for now, and I'll put it in. So there's.
Sorry, go ahead.
And we'll put in the. This is the thing that did the.
Yeah, maybe we can make a little sound file. Like I've got a couple other sounds here. The synth, the Pi synth. I even made one that's like detuned by Pi as well. The Pi Spectrum from Array. Maybe we'll make a little sound file and put it on the community library. Be cool.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'll send this to you right now. If you like, should I send it through our secret Skype back channel?
Yeah, send it through there, and I'll tinker with it. But what do you think, Alan? Should we say we're full of Pi for now?
Well, if you like, I was hoping you'd play it.
You want me to play this
properly? Play it. Put it through one of your. Put it through your amazing granulation or something.
All right, let's see here. Let me download this. See if it's gonna come through.